The path of love, the path of the divine feminine, is the path of finding God, nay, feeling God, in the midst of form, in the midst of manifestation and ceaseless change. The embodied feminine manifests as the continuous cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth, not just in nature but in ourselves, in our movements and moods, in our thoughts and responses. She is a wild paradox of contradictions who defies logic. Holy yet wild, fierce yet tender, pure yet deliciously sensual, she is the fire that warms gently but also burns and destroys. And it's not because she is flawed, but because it is her innate design. When we're moved by the beauty of nature, when we witness the birth of our child, when we feel our lover's caress, when we feel overwhelming love in our hearts, we are touched by the feminine. Love is the natural state of divinity that the pure feminine in us seeks. Yet, her spontaneous freedom of self-expression cannot happen without the partnering of the divine masculine. It can happen only against the changeless backdrop of the divine masculine, who holds space for her form and movement, who recognizes that all facets of her are divine. Hence, the natural state of the divine masculine is eternal presence, consciousness, peace, transcendence. This is why masculine paths focus on transcending the body, the mind, sexuality, emotions, the world, to attain a state of enlightenment that is eternal, peaceful. But when transcending occurs without full participation of the reality of here and now, parts of our feminine essence, i.e. our body, our sexuality, our emotions, heart-womb connection, are dismissed and not fully integrated. Irrespective of gender or sexual orientation, we have taken birth to experience the feminine path of love, to experience the divine in embodiment. And so what better way to restore the divine feminine to her rightful place within and without than to feel the ecstatic heart love of Rādhā and embody the courageous womb wisdom of Mādalena through song and story. Lali, 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 lali. Lali, 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 lali. 2,000 years ago, Yeshua and Mādalena appeared as embodiments of divine love. Their love was a deep act of spiritual communion, where both dissolved into one and became everything to each other: mother-father, sister-brother, sexual consorts, master-pupil, daughter-son. Their merging was a magical sexual spiritual act that alchemized the soulmates to transcend all inherited ancestral and cultural limitations, allowing for a profound spiritual awakening of the Christ essence. Unlike Yeshua, there is scant evidence of Mādalena's life. So we have the biblical Mādalena, the historical Magdalene, and the mystical Magdalene of visionaries and oracles. We're just beginning to understand Magdalene's true essence. Our understandings of her are constantly being rebirthed, perhaps because the sheer voluptuous radiance of her presence had to be hidden away, written away by a patriarchy that could not handle her power, until a new age dawns that could bear the enlightened presence of an embodied feminine Christ. The name Magdalene holds great feminine power because it means magic doorway of the great mother in Hebrew. In Semitic languages, Mag means great, powerful, magical, and Dal means doorway or portal. So through communion with Magdalene, we step through a magic doorway within ourselves, where we activate, initiate, and awaken our own Magdalene essence. We celebrate the power of her name, that is the magical key that unlocks the secret wisdom held within our heart, our soul womb. Irrespective of whether we're male, female, we carry a soul womb. Our soul gestates in that, and it takes all these different births so it can live out its purest essence. Or I like to think of it that way. And when you read about Magdalene, you often read about the heart-womb connection. So we want to sing to Miryai Magdalene. Tu-ra-lu-ra-lu-ra, tu-ra-lu-ra-lai, tu-ra-lu-ra-lu-ra, tu-ra-lu-ra-lai, tu-ra-lu-ra-lu-ra. Hush now, don't you cry. Tu-ra-lu-ra-lu-ra. Wondering who she'd be, while in her arms we now celebrate the birth of Rādhā. In folklore, Rādhā is the quintessential lover of Krishna, his Shakti, his power, the very soul of his being. Krishna, the divine masculine in form, is the source of bliss. Yet his ability to relish, realize his bliss-inducing desires happens only through Rādhā. Rādhā is his bliss potency. So while the whole world worships Krishna and is captivated by his divine play, it is Radhika, or Rādhā, who holds Krishna captive and whom he worships. Without Rādhā, Krishna cannot be reached. Without Rādhā, Krishna ceases to play his divine flute. And without Rādhā, there is no Krishna. While we know a lot about Krishna's birth, some 5,000 years ago, precious little is known about the historical origins of Rādhā. She first appeared in folk tales and songs, and later in erotic mystical poetry, in India mostly. So we will never be restricted to one version of her life. Instead, her story constantly expands into new dimensions. And the story of her sacred sensual love for Krishna, retold and reimagined. Interestingly, when the letters of the word Rādhā are reversed, it becomes dhara, meaning a stream, a river that flows towards the ocean. So like a dhara that springs from deep aquifers, breaking through the toughest of rocks to rush towards the light, the Rādhā too within us flows undeterred by social and mental or societal boundaries, sacred or profane, seeking the source of bliss. We celebrate the mystical, magical birth of Rādhā, who embarked on an audacious journey of embodying the divine love in her heart to then awaken a cosmic love consciousness on earth. The journey Rādhā took is the journey of our feminine soul. Rari ra rari ro, 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 rari ra rari ro. Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram, Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram, Ramanarayanam Janaki Vallabham, Ramanarayanam Janaki Vallabham. Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram, Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram, Ramanarayanam Janaki Vallabham, Ramanarayanam Janaki Vallabham. जानकी वल्लभम। कौन कहते हैं भगवान सोते नहीं? कौन कहते हैं भगवान सोते नहीं? माँ यशोदा की जैसे सुलाते नहीं। माँ यशोदा के जैसे सुलाते नहीं। अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम। अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम। माधवम श्रीधरम राधिकाराधितम। माधवम श्रीधरम राधिकाराधितम।